Are you a genetic expert, first of all?
No, but I've done my
No.
DNA test
Okay,
and it's in
okay,
my
okay. Now let's
culture.
be clear. So hold on, ma'am. So let's be clear. I would like you to take a little of that tone out your voice because you're not an expert, right? You're somebody who bought a DNA test, okay, and believe the results that it was. So let me explain how haplogroups
Simply my
work.
results. Let
Okay.
me
Hold
explain.
on, man.
Can I
Hold
say
on, man.
something? You
Hold
asked if
on,
I
man.
was an expert,
Ma'am,
but
we
can I
don't want
say
to hear
something?
about we don't want to hear about native haplogroups if you don't even know how haplogroups are established, ma'am. So let me clarify how you got the results in which you got. There is no such thing as native haplogroups, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, DNA testing results are based off modern populations, today's populations, right? Which means they went to America today after hundreds of years of colonization, after millions of different Europeans and other people were brought here. They went here today and got their genetic sequence from the people here today. Okay, and they quantify those as native haplogroups, ma'am. Okay, how reference populations are established in genetics is by current populations, not prehistoric, not ancient populations. Let's be clear. So when you say you got a native haplogroup, ma'am, okay, that is based off of the people there today, which we all know that America, the people in America today, okay, are not necessarily the people of America thousands of years ago. Okay, they don't have reference populations with the genetics from people who existed thousands of years ago, ma'am. They have the genetics for people who exist today. Okay, so with that being
Also,
said,
Can I finish?
also,
yeah,
wait,
hold
wait.
on.
Because I was rudely
Also,
cut off. Can I finish?
if black people weren't here until 1940, can you explain my grandfather being 100% Cherokee? Could you explain that? Because going by your logic,
I said
he would.
1492, dear.
You said what?
1492.
So
1492 is when
How were you
Columbus
there in
arrived.
1492?
no, she
Oh
wasn't.
my God.
Her
Like, what are
people,
you talking about? What are you
So
talking about?
clear.
So can I finish before you guys rudely cut me off? Because this is what you guys usually do, right? We tell the truth and then you overtalk us so we
It's
can't
not the truth.
finish.
It's your opinion.
So here's how haplogroups actually work, people. So for those interested, so your haplogroup is the one part of your DNA that never changes. It is from mother to child, and it will continue like that for generations. So for my haplogroup traces back to an indigenous woman over 20,000 years ago in the
You are
Americas.
lying
That's
your
how
ass off,
haplogroups work.
man. Can you, all right,
I'm
ma'am,
not lying. You just
hold
don't
on,
understand it.
stop,
Can I also
stop.
say that
You
I
are
have a
bold-faced
background?
fucking lying. You are bold-faced fucking lying. You just said you goddamn traced your people back to woman's fucking name 20
They
years
didn't
ago,
even
ma'am.
have
Stop
DNA tests back then. They didn't have DNA tests that advanced back
Stop
My
then.
God,
lying.
you guys are illiterate. That's
You,
literally how
ma'am, you
haplogroups
just said,
work.
You
ma'am,
lying.
you just said you here. A person who admits they're not an expert comes up here as an like an asshole, right? To regurgitate some shit she don't know nothing about,
The
right?
logic.
And you're actually talking to somebody who has a fucking background in genetics and bioinformatics, and you come up here with a 23andMe genetic test when I'm telling you, motherfucking geneticist, ma'am, says you cannot break your DNA into parts and bits. The actual geneticist who created the methodology that 23andMe follows, ma'am, they say you can't do what you're claiming that your great haplogroups of the natives are doing. The people who are actually doing the work are saying that you can't do what the people who are not doing the work claiming they can do. Like, make this make sense. None of you Native Americans are experts. If you was, then you wouldn't need a genetics test to tell you who you were.
But my
If you
thing
knew,
But
go
my
ahead,
thing
sister.
is DNA test, like, all right, everybody keep talking about a DNA test, but DNA tests weren't so advanced even fucking 10 years ago. So what makes you think hundreds and thousands years ago a DNA test worked back then? Like
Let's
somebody
be
in the
clear.
comments, like make that make sense.
The Human Genome Project started in the fucking 90s, okay?
That's
And what I'm
what are we
quoting,
talking about?
hold on. Let's be clear. The scientist that I'm quoting that says that you cannot break your DNA into bits and says this place comes from here and that place comes from there, that actual geneticist who worked on the Human Genome Project, Yeah, he said that you can't do that. So I'm sorry that your little $200 that you spent for them to lie to you about something. Goddamn it, I'm sorry. You got. But the actual geneticists, okay, the actual people who created the methodology, they say you can't break your DNA and says this place comes from here, this part comes from here, or this part comes from there. It is impossible. If you would like me to pull up the source, I could pull up the source.
Please pull up the source.
I could pull up the source.
They just
Hold
don't
on.
know. They just don't know.
Hold on. Let me pull up the source.
No, they don't get it.
Let me pull up the source for you intelligent. Y'all so damn smart, you're dumb. It's crazy. Let me pull up a source.
Like, come on now. Y'all want to prove people so wrong. But my thing is, right? So y'all want to sit right here and say like, oh, well, you know, black people didn't come here till 1940s. Where the fuck were we then? Like, where were we at then? Because last time I checked, right? Are there any clues of slave ships? Like, have anybody, like all these museums y'all went to and been going to, have any of y'all seen any slave ship? Like, that would be like the first thing they would blam, boom, put in a museum. So have any of y'all seen a slave ship yet? Like, please let me know. How were they bringing thousands of people here and it created like a whole population of darker people? Like, make that make sense. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And like I said, if I was African, I wouldn't mind being African either, but I'm not. I'm not going to sit right there and rap something that I'm not just to make y'all feel better about yourselves. I'm not doing it. Make that make sense. Right, we not from Africa. Y'all are delusional. Like, y'all talking about some people. So, okay, so only people that look like white people was here first. Only people that look like white people was here first. That makes sense? Like, come on now. So only people that look like white people was here first. That makes sense. That makes sense. And if we going by y'all logic, that means everybody from Africa. Because I read something on I read like an article that was saying that everything has been traced back to Africa. So if anything, everybody African then. Come on now. I'm not desperate to be anything. At the end of the day, when I walk out in this world, I know that I'm being portrayed as like people would deem me to be African American. When I get pulled over, anything like that, they're going to say I'm African American. Only thing that matters is that I know who I am. Me, I know who I am. That's the only thing that matters. I know when y'all look at me, y'all want to deem me because y'all ignorant. Y'all don't know anything about genetics, or y'all don't know anything about the history of indigenous people, the real history. Y'all only know things that was taught in y'all textbooks at school. Come on now. I don't really care. At the end of the day, I know who I am. That's the only thing that matters. I don't care what y'all think. Navajo, Blackfoot, and Cherokee. Come on now. So y'all want to be Mexicans. Who are Mexicans? Who's Mexican? I'm not Mexican. You got no, I got my education from my 100% Cherokee grandfather.